Hello everyone, I'm Lowie Verschelden, tracking expert at TAGGRS, and today we'll talk about Consent Mode v2 in Web and Server GTM. I have several years of tracking expertise and I've done many implementations, so I hope that after this video you will understand better what is Consent Mode v2 in Server GTM. We will walk through these 3 points today, and I will also set it up with Cookiebot so you can see it yourself how it works. So we'll start with the first one. What is Consent Mode v2? Consent Mode v2 makes it possible to allow or deny Google tags of firing based on users' consent preferences. The Google tags are consent aware. They notice automatically when consent changes and will always fire. But regarding to consent, they will send or not send all data. For non-Google tags, we will have to manually block them of firing. This I will show you in a bit. How does it work in server-side tagging? Consent preferences are captured on the client side, usually in a web container, and these consent signals are sent to a server-side GTM container. Here once again, the Google tags are consent aware, so we don't have to do anything to them. The non-Google tags need a manual block. Also this one I will show you later in the setup. The benefits of combining consent mode with server-side tracking. The first one is enhanced privacy control. It respects user consent choice in either web and server GTM. And the second one, improved data accuracy. Server-side containers can measure more because of circumventing ad blockers while still respecting users' consent. So this was the theory. Also you can read more about this in this blog from Google. But now I will show you how to set it up and how it works. So we will do it with Cookiebot. We have already made a Cookiebot account, but if you do it yourself, you will land on a website. You will land on a page like this. If you go to implementation, then you need this domain ID. One thing, don't forget to add your domain, otherwise it won't work. So now we have a web and a server GTM already. I will first continue to implement it in web GTM. We have a template for this. Cookiebot. Always enable URL pass-through. Why? If someone lands on the website and goes to a second page, it will put the click identifiers in the URL so they can be stored in a cookie on the second page as well. Otherwise you would measure less conversion. So I'm always putting this on. This can be on consent initialization as soon as possible. So this will set our default consent state, everything to denied. I will show you this. You can see Cookiebot banner shows up. Consent default, everything denied. Everything denied. This is how it should be. And then when we allow, we can see we get an update. We get an update with all granted because we clicked accept. So all our consent states are granted now. So this works correctly. This is very simple to do. The thing is, Google tags will fire nonetheless, like GA4 or Google Ads will always fire because they are consent aware. So I will reload this page and you will see on window loaded or on container loaded, no, on initialization, the Google tag still fired, even though if you don't give consent, I will withdraw the consent. We can see on this initialization, the Google tag has still fired even though there is not consent. You see? This is normal behavior. If there's no consent, the Google tag will still fire, but will send a cookie-less ping. It will not send user data or whatever to J4. Same with Google Ads. It will not send a conversion, it will just send a cookie-less ping. And thus you will not measure a conversion. For example, Facebook page view tag. This one you have to manually add or deny consent. And we can do this in consent overview. You have to enable it via admin. So this has been enabled. And now we can configure the consent. As you can see, these have built-in consent, all Google tags, built-in consent, except Facebook. So for this one, we can, no additional consent is required, save. And then for this one, we will require additional consent, and we will require ad storage, because it's an advertising tag. So let's see in preview mode what it does now. Now we will see on page view tags blocked by consent settings. So our Facebook tag has not been fired because consent is denied. And this is contrary to the Google tag that sends a page view. I mean that it fires, but it doesn't really send data. It just looks like it fires, but it sends a cookie-less ping to J4. What more? Also, one thing that you have to change is if you have pixels who put a cookie. And for example, this Facebook tag, the page view tag sets a cookie. That means if someone comes to your website and clicks on an ad on Facebook and a click ID will be added. I will show you this. This would look, for example, like this. Facebook click ID. Now the Facebook tag didn't fire, so it cannot save this click ID in a cookie. So let's say we land for the first time on this website. There's a click ID in the URL, but it cannot be stored in the in a cookie for measuring conversions. That's why we will trigger our Facebook tag and other tags that put a cookie on cookie consent update. Custom event with cookie consent update. Voila. And now if I delete all our cookies, and let's say we come from a Facebook ad, so now imagine we had still container loaded, it would have been denied because here it cannot fire. As you can see, it didn't fire here. Shouldn't fire here. And because we now click allow all, cookie consent update, the Facebook page view triggered, and this value will be stored in a cookie. And this doesn't work because we are using a dummy pixel ID, that's why. But otherwise it would have been saved in a cookie and you would see the value that we have put here. Okay, this is what I should tell you about WebGTM. Then let's check to the outgoing GCS parameters. That's an interesting one as well. So if you check the outgoing hits, so this is our GTM container, these are the outgoing hits to our server GTM, and you can see these parameters GCS G111 is what gives consent. These are the consent parameters, and there's a good block from Simoava which shows which letters mean what. For example, G100 is no consent, G110 is add storage yes, but analytic storage not, and the other one, and then both allowed. So for example, I check an earlier page view, we'll see that it will be G111. That's at the moment that we don't have, we didn't give consent. So I will show you this again so it's more clear. Go in preview mode again. As you can see now, page view with G100 means like no advertising consent and no analytics consent. If we click allow all, we have G11 analytics consent and advertising consent. And it's these parameters that we will use in server GTM to block our non-Google tags. So if I go to in preview mode over server GTM, if I reload, then I can see, for example, a page view or user engagement event has come in, and we will see this event XGAGS G11. Here the same. If we decide to deny it, to withdraw our consent, and reload the page, you will see that the page view entered with G100. This means no ad storage and no analytic storage. And the Google tags like GA4 and Google Ads, they will read this incoming parameter and they will fire accordingly. So they will always, it will always look like they fire, but with ad storage consent, the Google Ads tag will measure conversion, without it won't, and GA4 the same. The thing is, the non-Google tags should be denied of sending. They need a blocking trigger. So what does a blocking trigger look like? I already have set it up. This add storage trigger, it's a custom trigger, and it fires when the client name equals GA4 and when XGAGS. So this parameter, when it starts with the G10, because this means ad storage is denied. The same for analytics, and it ends with 0. So we can now block our Facebook trigger with ad storage. Go in preview mode. Voila. Now if we will see Facebook event stack has not been fired because it has been blocked because of the ad storage denied trigger. If I change consent, allow all, now you will see Facebook event stack has failed. It says failed, but it's because we use a dummy ID. So that's basically it. We have went through all the steps. We also have a template gallery in TAGGRS, which you can use, and all tags are already set up with consent. So this is really easy. If you have a certain CMS, you can just download and import or tags or triggers, everything. So that's it for today. Thank you for listening, and I hope now we know better what is consent mode v2 in server-side tracking. Bye.